when you demonetize, YouTube technically is not attacking your freedom of speech. You can still post. You can still do whatever you want. They're just not gonna pay you. But just know that red pill content as a whole is very clear to me that it's dying. Wow. So news just came in that Just Pearly Things got demonetized on the YouTube platform. Check this out. So according to the manual review, it says that your channel is not currently able to earn. Now, this is very interesting for many reasons. For one, Just Pearly Things have been a very influential persona as of maybe like the last year and a half, maybe 2 years. And she has been, the topic of discussion because of her outrageous takes. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Just Pearly Things, I've never actually had an issue with her. I actually liked some of her content. But, it was very clear that this was a woman that it was very odd why she was talking the way she does. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people accuse her of being a grifter of the red pill or the manosphere content. And, she said some really outrageous takes. Like, and what I mean by that, she would have takes like, women shouldn't vote. And I'm not even here to discuss, the nuances of the things that she was saying. But I think what was interesting about it was the fact that it was very clear that she was very conservative in her mindset. And I think fundamentally that's what we have to really consider in this whole thing that's going on, because YouTube seemed to be cracking down very hard on red pill content. At first it was Fresh and Fit, and now it seems like it's Just Pearly Things. And matter of fact, even before that, it was Andrew Tate. So let me not even forget that. But it's like anybody that has, very extreme views and they lean heavily towards the right and they're very conservative, YouTube is just like, nah, we're not going to have it. Now, there's still a bunch of red pill content out there that exists, but I guess because Just Pearly Things was so big, you know what I'm saying? So there's more eyes on her. That's what makes it extreme. That made her a target. Let's put it that way. So you can see on her Twitter page, Just Pearly Things, and it says that I was just demonetized on YouTube with no strikes, 0 warnings, and 0 explanation. What is going on? So this was interesting to me because, you see, YouTube is not like a normal job. It really isn't. And, YouTube is a platform where I think if you coming in to try to be a YouTuber or a content creator and you have the mindset of a 9 to 5, you're pretty much going to be screwed. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, you see, in a regular 9 to 5, they can't just fire you out of nowhere. There's HR departments and there's people that you could communicate with. And truth be told, if they want to, in a regular 9 to 5, if they want to fire you, they're going to fire you. Right? There's really, even though there's HR, there's really nothing that you can really do to plead your case for the most part, right? If they want you gone, they want you gone. But at least in a regular 9 to 5, for the most part, they give you a reason as to why they're letting you go. This is what makes it interesting because, you see, YouTube, even in their policies, it's written in such a way where they can drop you whenever they want to. They're not obligated to tell you why. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how big of a YouTuber you were. It doesn't matter how much money or revenue you generated for them. If they want you gone, sayonara. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I'm saying this is sad is because, you would assume that if people make you a lot of money, that you would have at least some type of partnership or some type of decorum with the individual. But YouTube doesn't seem to work that way. And truth be told, to be fair to YouTube has so much content creators. We might look at somebody with 1 million subscribers, which is extremely, like, if you could get to that milestone, that's extremely awesome. But to YouTube, they probably looking at it like they don't really care. You're small fry compared to like Mr. Beast, who got like 100 million subscribers. Like, you're not really offering anything to YouTube. And here's the thing, right? YouTube doesn't owe you money. You see, this is the thing, right? There's this concept of freedom of speech. And the thing about freedom of speech, right? Like, even from a constitutional standpoint, freedom of speech is never truly freedom of speech. There's freedom of speech to an extent, right? Like, if anybody knows the law, you can't scream fire in a movie theater because it will cause too much commotion and too many people could be injured. So you get what I'm saying? So freedom of speech is never truly freedom of speech. But I understand the sentiment of people who, for the most part, you would like to believe that there's some resemblance of freedom, right? Like, I want to be able to say whatever I want to say and not necessarily be crucified for what I'm saying. But that's what you don't understand, right? When you demonetize, YouTube technically is not attacking your freedom of speech. You can still post. You can still do whatever you want. They're just not going to pay you. And they're not obligated to pay you. Even from a constitutional standpoint. You want to say whatever you want to say? Okay, go ahead. But we don't got to employ you. We don't got to push your content. You get what I'm saying? So she's demonetized. And it's sad. And the reason why it's sad is because, again, I know even with my channel, right? Even my channel, it leans more to the conservative mindset. And to be real concrete, I'm more biblically aligned in my perspectives as a whole. That is not something that has a lot of reach. It doesn't. You can even look on my channel itself, right? If I post content regarding gaming or any other nonsense, man, that thing gets pushed so hard in the algorithm. But if you talk about, biblical perspectives, points and views, hey, you see the views is significantly lower. And it's just the nature of the game. If people have an issue with it, there's other platforms out there, Rumble, you know what I'm saying? There's, Twitch or whatever. I don't even know all of them. But, again, that's the risk you're running. And let's keep it a buck too, right? Because this is the area of Just Pearly Things. Although I do agree with a lot of her stances, especially when it pertains to relationships and how women need to be more realistic. But it was outrageous to an extent because she would bring on people who were kicked off the YouTube platform. Like, for example, I brought up Andrew Tate. Like, YouTube kicks someone like Andrew Tate out, and here you are inviting him to your podcast and interviewing the man. I mean, how does that look in the eyes of YouTube? Or even someone like Nick Fuentes, who is known to be a racist. And look what she said about that.
You think they were embellished upon?
I think they're embellished, yeah.
The same way. This sounds... Oh, gosh.
Oh, boy.
They're going to be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff, too. Because that's literally... the founder of... Or the guy who made Root said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by.
Right? So when you hear things like that, which is, overtly racist... is very condescending and demeaning to the people who actually are descendants of slaves. You can imagine how that's very insensitive. And yet, you assume that YouTube just has to pay you. Look, YouTube makes money because of the advertisers. And you got to understand that, generally speaking, they're not promoting Just Pearly Things to their advertisers. Yeah, does she make a lot of money on the platform? Sure. Does she help YouTube make a lot of money on the platform? Probably. But because of her takes, it's not the ideal person to push. They're going to push the Mr. Beast. They're going to push the whatever other cats that are generally entertainment just for, shits and giggles. That's the kind of people they like to push on their platform. But if you're a person with like these very, very outrageous takes, you put a target on your back. And it's sad because, again, YouTube at one point in time used to be a platform for the most part that you could talk about anything. I mean, it's called YouTube. It's your tube. It's your channel. So, I mean, why should you have to mince words or beat around the bush on your own channel? So then you hear a lot of people, you can hear all the time, rather than using certain terms, they come up with these outrageous terms nowadays like unalive and all these other things so that it could try to beat the algorithm, right? Because when you push out a video, most people may not even know, but it's there's like these AI generated reviews on your actual video, and then there's manual reviews where actual humans will actually look at your video, and if they don't like how you speaking or it doesn't meet the guidelines, then hey, it's just not going to be monetized. And this is the thing, right? The sad reality is this, right? This can happen to everybody. So I'm not rejoicing over it. I do know when it came to Fresh and Fit that was demonetized, I was one of the few people that, hey, I didn't mind that at all because I thought they were a net negative on men as a whole. I didn't like what they were preaching. I didn't like how their ideal man, high value man, was promoting men having sex with 50 women before marriage, being whoremongers, you get what I'm saying, and the demeaning woman, and then the representation of women that they brought on their platform was the raunchiest, that OnlyFans models. I mean, it wasn't a net positive on men. And as much as they want to talk about other people being grifters, they themselves were just fleecing a bunch of simp beta males who, they had the desire to be alphas. But let's keep it a buck. Majority of men are not going to be alphas. Especially not listening to that advice. But going back on Just Pearly Things, she just really ran her mouth to the proverbial grave. Like, there's got to be some level of common sense where you just know that, look, you may have views, but you got to be, as the Bible would say, wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you might not want to touch on every single topic. And I'm going to be even transparent, even with me, right? This is the thing about YouTube is that it's designed in such a way, at least as of lately, where this is the forced bowing down that's actually taking place, right? Like, even someone such as myself, I said earlier in the video where if I drop gaming content, it gets much more views than my regular videos. So then now, I've had thoughts like, oh, should I continue talking about the message and actually trying my best to wake people up through biblical point of views and perspectives? Or should I just stick to the gaming content because it makes me more money? But you see, at the end of the day, now, your morals, you got to check your morals, right? What am I doing this for? Are you doing this for the money? Or are you doing it because you actually care about the people that you are actually talking to? So, as for me, I'm not going to bow down. But I do know at the same time, you get what I'm saying? Just know you got to tread lightly. You got to tread wisely. Right? You got to tread wisely because it's not guaranteed. Again, this is not a normal 9 to 5. And, my advice for many other YouTubers, if you're one of those people that, this is your livelihood, I would sincerely consider saving up a lot of your money. Save up a lot of your money. You get what I'm saying? Because it looks nice when you're getting paid $20,000, $30,000. Some people, you get what I'm saying, $50,000 a month just for your commentary on YouTube videos. I mean, it seems great, but just know that it may not last. You know what I'm saying? Now, ultimately speaking, if you just want to be a bunch of entertainment and you just want, you want to do that, I'm not knocking people who do that. I'm not. I truly am not knocking people who do that. But just know that, okay, the viewpoints that are actually worth change, you're not going to get that across. You know what I'm saying? Like a Mr. Beast, he may have morals, right? But he doesn't really promote on his, he doesn't really talk much about politics or much about religion or anything of that sort. He don't talk about, the gender roles. He doesn't talk about any of that on his channel. He may have, I'm sure he's human. He has beliefs, but he doesn't talk about that. But I will say this, though, to commend Mr. Beast, I made a video where he literally built 100 wells in Africa. So do you see how you can be wise where it's just like, all right, let me just stay within the guidelines, make the money that I got to make, and then affect change by the money that I make. I don't necessarily got to go around spreading, this message across to everybody. Let me just work in the background. So, It's really hard. It's really hard. But again, I'm not here to rejoice over Just Pearly Things and what happened to her. The same way I didn't rejoice about Fresh and Fit, but just know that red pill content as a whole is very clear to me that it's dying. It truly is dying. And that it is what it is. It is what it is. But I would love to hear what you guys believe on this whole situation. Did you ever care about red pill content to begin with? Do you think it's a net positive or a net negative on society as a whole? Do you really just don't care about Just Pearly Things? I mean, I was talking to my wife, and she was saying, Just Pearly Things, she gonna be alright because her parents are filthy rich anyway. So if you got demonetized, so the hell what? Hey, that's a point of view as well. But please, let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys believe? With that being said, Nick over and out. The message sent. Jesus is King, y'all.